Hey guys, welcome to my very first episode of Snapseed tutorials. Today we're going to be going over selective coloring. Now I'm going to show you sort of step-by-step guide on how to achieve this. What I would suggest to do before we jump into a video is that you can download Snapseed. You can either do it from the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. It would be really good if you take a photo that has lots of colors in it, and it'll be really helpful as you go along. You can edit alongside me. So with that being said, we're gonna jump right into our video. So I'll see you in a second. All right, so we're gonna begin now. What you wanna do is that if you haven't done it already, you want to go to the App Store or the Play Store, depending if you are using a Google or iOS device. You want to download Snapseed. So Snapseed is it's free and actually is a really great bunch of tools that you can use to edit your photos. There are some other options as well, such as Photoshop Express and Lightroom. They're also free and they are behind some paywalls. You can use the basic versions of them, but what I found, at least in my experience, is that some devices just can't handle just running those programs, so you won't be able to download it, or it just won't run very well. So nice thing about Snapseed is that you can just use it whenever you want. So we're going to go into open, and we're going to select the photo we want to use. In this case, for the black and white color selective. Okay, and I like this photo. This is a photo of my daughter. Took this at my father-in-law's house, and yeah, the colors pop really awesome and really nice, and I think it's a really great example to show this. So when you're doing selective coloring, try and pick a photo that has some really nice bright colors, and it will just make your photos look even more cooler when we do this effect. All right, so what we want to do is that there is a little sort of pencil icon right over here. We're going to just click on that. And what we can do is that we can first tune our image, and you can sort of play around with the brightness, if it's too high and too low. And to do that, I'm using the pencil to go back and forth, left and right, but you can also use your finger as well, however you like it. So I'm just gonna and that middle part is just where it starts. So if you ever don't like it, you can either just press cancel or X over here, or just go to the middle point. But I'm just gonna make this photo just a little bit brighter. Okay, and then if you want to go to the other settings, you can just move your finger or your pencil up or down, and then you can play with that again, right? Contrast, so we can really make those colors pop or make them a little less dull. Okay, I'm just gonna have it over here. Okay, saturation. Okay, so kind of you lose a little bit of color or you gain a bit of color. Okay, and I really like that yellow dress, so I want to make that yellow dress pop out a little bit more in my photo, so we're gonna leave it at that. Okay, ambiance. Okay, again, I'm gonna leave it a little bit higher so we can have that yellow dress. Okay, and then we're gonna go to highlights. Okay, so just maybe a little bit higher. Shadows. Okay, maybe just a tad darker. And the warmth, I think it was pretty good where it was at, so I'm gonna just leave it like that. Okay, when you're done with your photo, you can press this check mark and you're good to go. All right, so the next thing that we want to do is that we want to go back to this edit icon, this little pencil one right over here. If you're doing it in like vertical mode, it should be at the very bottom. If you're doing it in a horizontal mode, it'll be on the left. Sorry, on the right side. And what we want to do here is we can go and do black and white. Okay, so black and white is just going to sort of obviously make a photo black and white. And if you want to, you can, so there's different filters that you can select from, but I'm going to select this one, the neutral one, and it should have some of the effects that we kind of just did. So I don't want to really play around with it too much. You'll see why in a second. So I just want that black and white effect. Okay, so you might think, well, what was the whole point of editing our photo before? Well, I'll tell you how that will be played in just a second. So this is the biggest thing that you want to do now. If you look at the top right, there's going to be three little icons. It's going to be little three dots, okay, which has tutorials, help, feedback, and settings. Okay, we don't want that. There's a eye icon, okay, which gives you a bit more details on the photos, okay, how it was taken. So this is taken on my iPhone 8 Plus. Tells you kind of like your camera information, so an f-stop of 1.8 and all that stuff. And then lastly here we have what we call just like a little stacks, okay, and you can either, this is where we can undo basically any changes we've done to our photos, or we can also do a bit more further editing. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to click on the stack here, okay, and we're going to go where it says here view edits. So when we click on this, basically what this does, it brings up a history of all the edits that you have done so far on your image. So we can sort of see here we have a tuned image, and you can see if we click on that, it automatically goes back to how we had our edited photo, okay? And then what we did next is that we made it black and white, so then it puts another layer on top of that. So the more things you add here, you're going to see that it's going to just kind of keep on increasing. Okay, right now we only have sort of two little layers, and this is obviously the original, right? So original, we went original, then we tuned it, and then we made it black and white. All right, so when we get here, we're going to go on the black and white, and when there's a little arrow here, click it, and it's going to give you three options. What this does is that it can either trash it, so just delete this layer, so it'll go back to our original tuned image, so we'll lose the black and white. We can go here on the right side where it kind of brings us back to our options for our different black and whites. Okay, we don't want that. What we want is the middle, and it looks like here like a little paintbrush painting on the picture, and if we click on that, it's actually going to go back to the edited photo that we did, our tuned image. Okay, and this is where we can actually do our selective coloring. So there's two ways you can do this. I'll show you the easier way. We're going to go and click here where it says invert. It's like a little triangle and a circle. And it's gonna, if we do this, it's gonna make our entire photo red, okay? And what we do here is that we can go and increase what we want to do to this photo, how much we want to apply to this photo. So if we do this, we can now color, oops, sorry, you should actually leave it at 0, okay? So if you leave it at 0, you can now color, and you can sort of see that I'm actually coloring the dress. Okay, and if we, let's say for example, we were to just finish it, just to look at our final product, you can see that our black and white layer stays basically black and white, but what we have done is that the area that we selected with the red, we basically removed the red, and we brought in our color. So if you go back in here, the red is basically our entire black and white photo. And when we go to 0 black and white, we're just removing that layer. So if we were just to do this, wherever we click or touch on our photo, we're actually removing that black and white. And when we're done, you can see that those areas that we touched that is no longer red, are the actual natural colors of the photos or of the tuned image. Now, what I meant to do before is that if you go to 100%, 100 black and white, you can actually color back those things that we did. Okay, so let's say you mess up, you want to undo it by accident, we can just go on 100 black and white, and then we click the check mark, it'll go back to our normal black and white photo. Okay, so just a little tutorial on that. So what we want to do, okay, if we want to color the dress and just only have the color. Have it at 0, black and white, so we're getting rid of the black and white. And what I would suggest to do is you're gonna just spread your fingers apart and just really zoom in on your photo. If you noticed before when we had it zoomed out, okay, whenever you were to just basically select the area, it's very wide, very broad, right? If you select these flowers, there's a lot of green that's left in the back. But if we zoom in and we do the same thing, now we see how much more accurate we can be with our coloring in, or basically taking out of the black and white. Okay, so what we want to do is zoom in so we don't have so much extra area. We want to be precise. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to and I would just zoom in just for like almost like when you learn to color, right? You learn to just do the edges first, and once you do the edges, then that's just the easy part. Or the easy part is then afterwards just filling in the middle part. Okay, so that's what I would do. So I'm just gonna do this, and I'm just gonna fast forward, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, so welcome back. So as you can sort of see, I finished coloring the dress, and now we're just about to see how it looks. Now you can sort of see there's a little bit of tiny little leakage that I have done just by accident. So what we want to do here, let's say if this happens to you, again, increase it to the black and white to 100%, and then just color it in, and then you're basically done. And then if you go over here, there's another one I did by accident. Okay, and then if you just slowly, if you want to be as accurate as you can slowly just add your way around those little fine details. Sometimes you just gotta kind of go back and forth at it, but for the most part, for a first attempt, that looked just pretty good. So what I want to do here is I want to go click check mark, and bam, there you go. So the whole photo is basically now black and white except for the dress. So we made the yellow sort of stand out a lot. Okay, and then you can sort of see that whatever you had adjusted, so basically what you took off was just the black and white layer, and what's left underneath is that tuned image of my daughter's dress. Okay, and then once you're all done that, if you're happy with how it looks like, you can go and click this back arrow here. Okay, and if you want to save it, you can click this little sort of square with a little up arrow, and then there's a couple of things you can do here. First things first is that you can save it, and basically it will ask permission to modify the original photo, and I would suggest not to do this, because maybe if I want to use that one, if I want to keep that original photo for basically memories, you can always have that. So what I always like to do is I like to just save as a copy, and then if I do that, it's just going to make a copy of it. Okay, and then if I go to my folders, Okay, if we go to recent, you can sort of see I have my original photo and I have my edited photo. Okay, and that about does it for our tutorial for today. Hopefully that was helpful for you guys, and hopefully you can create some really cool selective coloring effects. So again, if the app is free, download it. It's a really great tool. I'll be posting some more tutorials later on in my channel, so just feel free to subscribe and you can sort of see when those happen. And hopefully this kind of gives you a little bit something to do while you're stuck at home quarantined. I can't wait to see what you guys create, and yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.